Hi everyone, and welcome to this tutorial about the modes in music theory. For a lot of musicians, this subject seems to be causing a lot of confusion, as if exotic sounding terms like mixolydian or locrian were coming from another planet. But once you know what it is, it can become a real great tool for your composition or improvisation skills. And yeah, by the way, I have a broken hand. That sucks. Yeah. First, let's start with some basic knowledge that you're probably familiar with. So there are 12 different notes used in popular music. The interval between each note is called a semitone. A scale is any set of musical notes. This 12-note scale is often referenced as the chromatic scale. So for a full cycle of 12 semitones, the interval is called an octave. For example, from a C note to the next highest C note. Now let's be a little bit more specific about the scales. A diatonic scale is a 7-note scale that includes 5 whole tone intervals and 2 semitone intervals. By definition, the major scale is a diatonic scale. So the interval template for the major scale is like this. So you get an old tone from the first to the second note, then another old tone from the second to the third, then a semitone, then old tone, whole tone, and finally a semitone to get to the first note. So if you use the C as the tonic, we get the C major scale. So C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. By the way, the C major scale has no alterations. It's like the white notes on a piano. Great, now to help us visualize the major scale template, I'm going to put a transparent wheel with holes where the right notes are. Like this. So here is the C major scale. So let's take a listen to what it sounds like. Okay, now let's rotate the wheel from C to D with the tonic following. We'll get the D major scale. So D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, and C sharp. Let's take a listen to it. Great. So it sounds the same, but with a different key. Now let's try another one. Let's go to G. So here's the G major scale. So G, A, B, C, D, E, and finally F sharp. Let's take a listen. Great. So what are the modes in music theory? A mode is a scale within a scale. Each note of a scale can be used as a tonic to create a mode. There are as many modes as there are notes in the scale. The major diatonic scale has 7 modes. It's Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, mixolydian, Aeolian, and finally locrian. So the first mode is C Ionian, which is, by the way, the same thing as C major, but C major is a scale and C Ionian is the first mode of that scale. So you get the interval, and let's hear it again. So if I move the tonic to the second note of the scale, like the D, we get the Dorian mode. Let's hear the difference. Notice how the mood changes from the Ionian mode, even if it's the same set of notes. It's because what's changing is the relation of each note to the tonic. That is what makes the color of a mode. If we keep moving the tonic, we get the third mode, the Phrygian mode. This one has a more exotic sound. It is caused by the second note, which is only a semitone higher than the tonic. Next is the Lydian mode. This one is very similar in sound to the Ionian mode, or the major scale. The only difference is that the first semitone is between the fourth and the fifth note. The result is that the fourth note is higher, and that gives an uplifting quality to this mode. Nice. Next, also similar to the Ionian mode, it's the mixolydian mode, and it is a widely used mode in popular music, especially in rock. In this case, it's the seventh note that is lower because of the switch of the interval between the last two notes. Take a listen to this mode. It surely sounds familiar. The sixth mode is called Aeolian, but it is also known as the natural minor scale. In fact, the natural minor scale and the major scale that contains the same notes are called relative keys. They would have the same key signature on a musical score. Finally, the last mode, and also the least popular, the locrian mode. It is never used in popular music, but it's good to know that it exists. So that's it for the 7 modes of the diatonic major scale. Now we're going to take a different approach to get the modes. What if we want to know all the modes but with the same tonic? This time, we will need to turn the template counterclockwise until the tonic fits in a hole. Then we will get the modes in the same order. So, C Ionian, C Dorian, C Phrygian, C Lydian, C mixolydian, C Aeolian, and C locrian. Now with this list, it's easier to visualize the difference between the modes. Now I'm going to make a chart with every mode, and the notes will become numbers called degrees, and I'll add the alterations. Right there. So each square represents the 12 notes of an octave. This way you're not restricted to using C as a tonic. You can use this chart for every key. And by the way, I recommend learning this stuff with the degrees first. Once you know it well, it's easier to learn the notes in a particular key. But this chart shows the mode in the order they appear in the major scale, but I think there's a better way to order them. This next chart shows the modes so that every adjacent mode has only a single note different. Every mode has a single note lower than the mode on top of it. And also the bold note is the one changing. It is also kind of the signature note of the mode. So for Lydian is the sharp 4, mixolydian the flat 7, Dorian is the flat 3rd, Aeolian the flat 6th, Phrygian the flat 2nd, and Locrian the flat 5th. Notice the arrow at the left. This order also follows the shading of the modes. It is useful when you write music and you want to express a certain feeling, or if you want to understand why a popular song sounds happy, sad, hopeful, angry, etc. But now without chords there is no harmony, so we need to know what chords we can use for each mode. But first, some basic knowledge. A basic chord is made with the degrees 1, 3, 5 of a scale. So 1, 3, 5 is the major chord, 1 flat 3, 5 minor chord, and 1 flat 3, flat 5 diminished chord. So each mode has its own tonic chord that gives it an identity. Let's see. So we get 3 modes with a major tonic chord, 3 modes with a minor tonic chord, and the last mode has a diminished tonic chord. Now it's time for the trickiest part of this tutorial, but also the most useful. We want to construct a chord for every degree of every mode. Since all modes use the same template, the same chords are spread in symmetry to each degree. What it means is that the chord of the second degree of the Ionian mode is the same as the first degree of the Dorian mode. The chord of the third degree of the Ionian mode is the same as the first degree of the Phrygian mode, and so on. Let's take a look. By the way, the Roman numbers are used to represent the degree as chords. So major are uppercase, minors lowercase, and the diminished have a degree sign. So after all this abstract theory, we can use this last chart to give us notes and chords to be used in any mode of any key. So let's say I want to see what is Ionian. So we get E major, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, B major, C sharp minor, and D sharp diminished. So with all these chords, you will be in E Ionian. Now let's see B Dorian. So using the chart, now we get the B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor, G sharp diminished, and A major. Let's do the same with, let's say, G Lydian. So G major, A major, B minor, C sharp diminished, D major, E minor, and F sharp minor. And one last example, let's try D Aeolian. D minor, E diminished, F major, G minor, A minor, B flat, and C major. So that's it for this video. I will follow up with a part 2 with some examples of all the modes, and I will put a link in the description to my website to get all the graphics that were on this video. So if you liked it, please subscribe. If you have questions, leave a comment. And I'm Martin, and I will see you in the next video. Without this, hopefully.